Good evening, folks. It's Freddie Vasquez. This is Basement Politics Unfiltered. Happy Thursday.
Freddie wins. Fatality.
All right, get this off. He's joking with the stars. Good evening, folks. I'm Freddie Vasquez. I want to come on real quick tonight. Talk about a little more about retaliation, retribution, and Ruth Walter. Man, I'm in detail. Good evening, folks. I'm Freddie Vasquez. Tonight, I want to talk a little bit about retribution. You know, I want to say some things without saying too much, just because I don't want to say, I don't want to get some, I don't want to put some things out there that I want to keep private, personal. But anyway, I want to first mention this. Another employee arrested here in the city of Yonkers. What's going on here? Right? Arrested earlier today was Rafael Pena, a 57-year-old resident of Yonkers. Pena was a program specialist for the Yonkers Public Schools. He was separated from employment on February 28th. Pena began working for the district in 2014. Pena is being charged with one count of public lewdness, a Class B misdemeanor in New York State penal law. The case is being prosecuted by the Westchester County District Attorney's Office. Note, booking charges are merely accusations. And so this individual was in the PAL. He was in the PAL, and I don't know, he had an office there. He was renting an office there or something to that effect, and he exposed himself to a woman employee. I'm not sure. I'm not of all the details, but there are kids that go there, right? A lot of kids go to the PAL, obviously, and there's somebody there who works for the schools, or was working for the schools, who was arrested for public lewdness. How many employees has that been now? In less than 2 years that have been arrested for one reason or another. And a few of them have been having to do with some kind of sexual act or some kind of sex crime, right? You had the guy who was working for housing last year. He was caught on video bringing a girl or having a girl go into a stairwell with him where he allegedly offered her money for sex. And then you had the fireman, who I think is given, connected to his family, connected to the landlady at my daycare center's attorney, and I'm having a hard time there, and I'll get into that in a minute. Talk about retaliation, but the fireman who was fired for soliciting sex from underage girls in Atlantic City, the Yonkers fireman, he was actually hired with, I believe, a felony already to begin with. So that's what I'm hearing, and from multiple sources. These are reliable sources. So why was he hired? And that's not unusual for someone to be hired by the city with a felony. And then they reoffend. So if it was the first time, I could say, well, maybe that source may not be all the way correct, but it's happened before. So they're a reliable source. So I'm going to go with that. It's true, right? He did have a felony before, but there have been like 4 or 5 now city employees arrested. And of course, we can't forget Stephen Dolan, who was driving drunk, who hit CJ Hackett, the 16-year-old boy, killing him on McLean. He's not no longer going to be employed with the city of Yonkers. He's not getting his job back, according to city officials. But there are other people who have been fired who are not getting their job back, who have done nothing wrong. The only thing that they did wrong was complain about nepotism, complain about corruption, complain about the unfair treatment at work, and they've been fired, sent to the crooked shrink over at the IMA in Hartsdale. That's the place that Anthony DiMaggio has been talking about in his podcast, the same crooked shrink or psychologist that he was sent to when they wanted to terminate him, and they eventually did, as you know from the podcast. But there are others It's not just Anthony DiMaggio. So anyone who may be on the fence of, believing whether Anthony DiMaggio is telling the truth or not, he's not the only one. He's not the only employee that's been sent to these psychologists, and have been sent there with the goal of getting them fired, right? Of producing a report that would justify their termination. And all they did was simply complain to a supervisor about corruption, nepotism, and that was it. They were made to believe that they really cared about their complaint, even sending them to individuals who they thought were independent investigators, but were actually working for the city of Yonkers, for the Human Resource Department. And so earlier today, I sent an email to Carlos Moran, who is the head of the human resources here in the city of Yonkers, to let him know about this. And I said to him, people have reached out to me and have told me about their problems as employees here in the city of Yonkers. And they've told me that they've tried to reach out to human resource, and that was a mistake. And it shouldn't be. If you're having issues at work, problems in the workplace, you're supposed to reach out to human resources, and they're supposed to be able to help you. If someone is, harassing you, threatening you, making it difficult for you at work, maybe, going in there and, creating a mess in your area so you can get written up because your brother wants to run for office, or getting harassed at work because the deputy commissioner's son has an issue with you. You know what he's been up to. And so, these are things that are happening here in the city of Yonkers, and there are individuals that are being fired, terminated. Pensions are taken away because of lies. And without saying too much, without going into too much details, I reached out to Mr. Moran because people say he's an insider. He's connected. You're not going to be able to get help from him. If you go and complain about nepotism, and what I mean by that is that people who are employed with the city of Yonkers complain about other employees who were hired simply because they are connected. They are part of the nepotism system. They get away with murder. They don't have to show up to work or work as hard, work as many hours. They get paid more and they get promoted quicker. That's what I mean. And so if they complain about that, then they're on the chopping block. And it shouldn't be that way. And they get sent to the crooked shrink. They come up with a report. They're terminated. Right? One individual who was terminated became suicidal. He lost his job. How was he going to pay his bills? Took his livelihood away. All because he complained about a problem he had with an individual that's connected. And instead of rectifying the problem, resolving the problem, bringing the two individuals in, saying, hey, we have to work this out, getting them back to work. No, they fired the guy. And he became suicidal. The guy wanted to kill himself. And so when they found out about this, they brought him back. They couldn't have that happening. The guy killing himself because they fired him over retaliation, having a problem with someone who's connected. But they brought him back with half his pay. And now they're giving him a hard time at work because they're hoping that he just quits now. And that's not okay. And that's what happens to a lot of people. And so if you support the current administration and the way that things are, then you support that. If you're an elected official and you don't speak out about that or against that, or if you don't protect employees or make sure that employees are protected, employees who come out and speak out about corruption, whistleblowers, if they're not protected, then you are a part of that. You are allowing that to happen. You are okay with it. That's retaliation. And obviously I've experienced it, and it's sad because, you know, I'm learning that in trying to hurt me, kids have been hurt. Families have been hurt here in the city of Yonkers. There's 400 students on a waiting list for UPK. We have 18 spaces available. Although we probably have less now. We just got 2 new students. They're coming. But we probably have 17, 16 spaces. These parents were told that their vendors had no more spaces. A parent came to us, or parents came to us yesterday because they wanted to get their daughter in the UPK. They were finally told about little prodigies, and they came there, and their daughter needs help with speech. There's developmental delays. And so instead of getting her into a UPK like ours that will help her with that, they told her there was no more room. They had no more space. And so now she's already developmentally delayed, and now she's delayed in getting UPK and the services that she needs. When we told them what we could offer for her, you have to see the parents. And they're Hispanic parents. The father speaks English, pretty well. The mom doesn't speak English as well. So I was communicating with her, but the child needs help. And instead of having that child in our space in September, she's now coming in. What are we, in March? We could have been helping her that entire time. We have students that have come to us with, speech delays or delay in their speech that are now speaking a lot more, and their parents don't want them to go anywhere else because of that success that they've had. And so those students that have not been placed or that are now being placed missed out on all that time that they could have been developing their speech or whatever developmental delay they may have, all to spite me. That's sad. That's very sad. So, if you're a parent, let parents know, if they have a child that has, that may need some services like that and is not placed in a UPK because they were told there's no more spaces, with their vendors, let them know that little prodigy has a space. And I was telling someone today, look, at the end of the day, I'm not the one that was affected. It's the young kids, the students that didn't get a placement, that didn't get to get those services sooner. I gave example of a young boy who came to us nonverbal. Now he'll tell you when he wants to eat. He'll say bye as he's leaving. So it's sad. It's sad that, that's how this city is. It's sad that, there are people that don't care. They just don't care about our kids. They don't care about those that are in need, that are less fortunate. They don't care about anyone but themselves and their own personal gain. They don't care about seniors. Today I stopped and I saw Steve Sansone over in front of the Parks Department, and I pulled over just to speak with him. Say hello. I like Steve. I do. He's always a friendly guy. And I said, hey, Steve, yo, what's going on, man, with the seniors? over at the Bernice Breckman Center. You know, I spoke with them when they wanted to sign my petition, but they didn't just sign my petition. When I met with them, they told me about some issues that they were having. So I spoke to them. I said, Steve, why not, you know, let them live, right? Let them live. Like, why do they have to have someone there that now they're, you know, feeling like it's mean to them, it's kind of talking to them in an abusive way, you know, their money's missing, they're restricted on what they can do, they're limited in the time that they can be in there. You know, they're being given such a hard time. Why? Because they complained about the delays in getting their center, you know, opened and, you know, done in a way where they're not going to injure themselves going into the bathroom, or they're not having leaks or whatever else problems they wanted addressed. So, and because they spoke out about that, so they now have to deal with this. That's not okay. That bothers me. And so I'm going to say something about it. And so, no, I'm not all over the place. Someone said that to me. I said, no, I wrote that email because they came to me. People want help. They don't know where else to go. They don't know who to trust. The seniors came to me and I told them I would see what I could do. And that's what I'm doing. That's what an advocate does. That's what, you know, a community leader does. That's what, you know, someone who cared does. It's not about me anymore. So if I'm not just talking about my issue, you know, and I'm saying something about another issue, that's because it's about our city. It's about the people within our city. It's just not about me anymore. It's about the people that are dealing with retaliation, that are staying quiet because they know if they speak up, they're going to get fired. They can't afford it. Single moms, this is what people say. They need their job. They need their money. They can't afford it, so they have to just deal with it. But they want it to change so bad. They wish they could speak up. They wish they could come on my podcast and say it all. But they're scared. And I understand why. They will send police to your house. That's happened. They will threaten to arrest you. That's happened. They will send people to be tough with you. That's happened. They will have these news things, you know, write nasty things about you. So what are we going to do? You know, and so for anyone that just, you know, goes along with the, you know, the officials that are in office now say, oh, they're doing such a great job, you know, either you just don't know what's going on, or you are a part of it, or you're that type of person, or you're benefiting from it. You know, and I'm just saying because someone said, Freddie, you know, and I know they were just playing. I have no issue with that person. You know, I like that. You know, I like you a lot, actually. That person. You know, they say, Freddie, you know, you have beef with everybody, and I'm not beefing with everybody. I'm just beefing with those that, you know, I'm exposing people, right? And I'm exposing our elected officials and those that are close to them, and so they're gonna speak negatively of me, of course. You know, but I'm not gonna, you know, not streaming on YouTube. I don't know. Maybe they're messing with my YouTube page. I don't know. You know, so I'm not going to stay quiet just because some people don't like what I'm saying and they're going to have a problem with me and they're going to go and say these things about me or whatever. Rue Rose and Brian Harrigan continue to post about me. I don't care. What they post is they don't even know what they're talking about. Right? So I don't care. If someone doesn't like what I'm doing, then I don't care, because I know and I feel that what I'm doing is right. I'm speaking up. I'm speaking for the people that can't speak for fear of retaliation, fear of losing their job. I mean, even residents are scared to speak out. They don't want to, you know, have problems with the city. They're trying to take properties, right? And so residents are like, I don't want to speak out. They're already trying to take the property. I said, well, they're going to take it anyway. The only thing that can help you is if you speak out, and if you come out and vote, and if you change the current elected officials that are in office now. That's how you're going to help yourself. Staying quiet, you're not going to help yourself. and then you're going to be wishing that you had done something. That's a fact. The Yonkers public schools don't care about our children. That's what it seems like. That's what it seems like. What have they said about the schools? What, out of everything that the mayor has talked about, what real improvement have they done for the schools? And probably after this podcast, because they have someone that watches, they're going to go and do something. Watch. Remember I said this. But what have they done? What we got? The Hollywood and the Hudson. We got the Teutonia. We got what else they're talking about? They did the river walk, the moon, the daylighting or whatever. They talk about all these different development projects and things that they've done. We're going to be building a park, Leonard Spano Park by the water over there. Amazing. But what have they done for the schools? What improvements have they made where they can say, look what we've done to the school. We got the state-of-the-art school. Out of all the construction and development going up, now one school, now one of those buildings that have been built has been a school. And we need 3. Where's the school? Where's the ribbon cutting in the grand opening ceremony for a new school? Where's that at? I see a lot of groundbreaking for residential, luxury residentials, maybe senior building, but where's the groundbreaking for the second school? Because we should have built the first one already. It should have been done. They don't care. You're right. You're absolutely right. Not only the fact that they are not really doing anything, to improve the schools or adding anything really, or if they are, it's just, it's for show, I think, because they're delaying. I don't know how long it's going to take them to build that school, right? They're not really doing anything. So for show. So, I mean, they don't care. They're building residentials with only studio 1 and 2. Maybe a few 3 bedrooms now. AMS is building a couple of their residential buildings with a few 3 bedrooms, but the majority of the developments going up going up have studio 1 and 2 bedrooms only. So that's another, to me, sign that they really don't want a lot of families here. This is going to be a transit-oriented district, city. That's what they want. So they don't care. I mean, to blatantly, tell parents that they don't have any more space in their, UPKs, parents that need services, just to spite a business owner. That's horrible. That's evil. That says everything right there. You don't care about these kids. Screw those kids. Especially the ones that get subsidies, right? Because, some of these UPK and daycare centers don't take certain kids. They don't really want the kids that get subsidies. They don't want the difficult kids like one girl that we took because the other places didn't want her. We took her and I love that girl. And yes, she's a little wild, but so what? That's who she is. That makes her her. I don't care, right? I wish I could show you guys because I want you to see how genuine we are about it. And they don't care. They should be seeing this program and this husband and wife team and be like, yo, we want to embrace you and help you. And please help us build this school. You guys have a lot of great ideas. You've seen it. You've experienced it. These are the kind of people we want working along with us to make this city great. No, they'll attack you, try to ruin your reputation, try to deplete you of your money. In the process, hurt kids. That's sad because there's so many kids in our school district that have IEPs that are not getting the services they need, and we're already in March. You think that's going to change next year? It's only going to get worse. And that's, from what I hear and I understand, illegal. They're supposed to be provided with those services. It's detrimental to their progress, their overall progress in life. You have to start early intervention. That's what we talk about with our parents. Your child has some form of, developmental delay. Early intervention is important. That's why our kids who have come there early, whose parents don't want to take them out of there because of the progress they made, have made so much progress, are talking now. We know what we're doing. We know what we talk about because we care. They don't care. They don't care if your kid is getting the services they need for the IEP. They don't care. They don't care. And who's talking about that? Which one of our council members that's running for mayor is talking about that? They want your signature on their petition, but what have they said they're going to do? What? What details have they mentioned? Because anyone can say, oh, education, oh, quality of life. Yeah, this, that, and the third. But no detail. They're not even telling you what's wrong. So how are you going to fix it? How you know what's right if you don't even know what's wrong? You don't think nothing is wrong, right? Because the past 12 years have been great. You just want to be the next mayor, right? You know, and if you live in this city, you should care. You should care because you live in this city, and I promise you, you're being impacted in some way. I promise you, because the majority of you are not part of the nepotism system. So you're being impacted in some way. And so you should care about what I'm saying. You should care about what's on my podcast. Don't listen to those knuckleheads. If you happen to go on those other pages, cool. You want to see the accidents? Cool. You want to see the overdose? Cool. You want to see the people who got shot? Cool. You want to see the dead body in Getty Square? Cool. But you want to know why that's happening? Come here. This is where you learn why that's happening and where you can learn how to change it. And so don't let them distract you. They don't want you to come to the page where you can learn. God forbid you get educated. They want you indoctrinated. And that's all I want, is I'm trying to teach people to be independent minds. I'm educating you on what's happening here in the city of Yonkers, and you should care. Especially if your child is in the school, you should care. It's important. And don't be fooled by what they're trying to do now. It's too late. So when they get elected, they're going to stop, right? Oh, we got in now. We don't care anymore. Let's keep it moving. Forget that. Right? You are helping the people that don't know what to do. You know, I'm trying to. They are building a new school at St. Denis on McLean Van Cortlandt Park, but they can't take the church down. Yeah, they've been building that school for a while now. You see, Joe Carter's got already like 2-3 studios up, right? In the time that they're building that one school, they're dragging their feet. And, you know, people that watch the show that drive by the site every day say they don't see anyone working there. That construction company I heard was tied to the administration, to the Spanos. That is going over budget. They already went back to have a, to ask for more money. It was approved. They got more money. So they're already going over budget. Delays in construction mean more money. So they're milking that because whoever the contractor is most certainly, in my opinion, kicking back some money. That's non-union work. Bunch of subs that are working there. Hopefully they don't build a school that's going to collapse while our kids are going to second period or whatever you call it here. I know we used to call it period, second period, right? We've helped people who were lined up to get railed by the MIA clinic, Freddie. Believe it. I know it for a fact, and I know stories that have been asked not to speak about, but people are appreciative. No, I'm not saying that people aren't appreciative. I don't want to come off like that. I know people are appreciative, but there are some people that, are looking at me like this guy's got a problem. This guy's just disgruntled. He's unstable, right? That's the thing. He's unstable. He's all over the place, right? That's what they like to say, right? But, they all have one thing in common, these individuals. And I think is that their desire to benefit from this system somehow, right? That's the reality of it. And they are. Some of them are already, and some of them desire to. Right. And so I get it. Right. So, but there are people that just don't know. Right. They don't know what's going on. And so that's what I'm saying. It's important. It's important because they'll go on Yonkers Voice and they'll see whatever he puts there, Brian Harrah, and they might have, or Harry, whatever his name is, they may have a perception that's not true about me based on lies that he posts up on his page because he'll blatantly lie. He doesn't care. Right. As long as they keep paying for his apartment, there's 2 apartments that he has over there. Right. And Brian, and Ruros also, as long as he keeps getting that money from elected officials, paying him to do these interviews, paying him not to do interviews with people or not to promote people or to be negative about people, And the reason why I got into that Ruth Walter, situation, or I spoke about it, I don't say I got into it, but maybe I got into it now, but I spoke about it was because I don't think it's right. It's not fair. It's not right. It's not okay. And that guy, I know what he does. And they were purposely trying to set this poor woman up. And we don't know what effects, you don't know what effects it could have, not just on her career as an elected official, but I know she's got a business, right? And just her personal life, right? Just to create a lie, because there's no, evidence to support that it was based on racism. And then all I said was that the way the guy spoke, even in the Yonkers Voice interview, and from his own mouth saying that he cursed at her and the cops, that tells me that he can get aggressive, right? He can be a little bit, ready to go. And he said, I'm going to get paid, right? He sounded very tough. So in my eyes, my perception of that person, I would believe what Ruth said. I don't see why, but they're making it about racism to simply ruin her chances of winning this election, right? And ultimately what they do is ruin people's reputation. Ruth Walter, I hear, is not doing too good over this. This is just what I'm hearing. And so I would imagine, this woman's upset, like this is a lie, and they're perpetuating this. Yonkers Voice, this guy's a pedophile. He pled guilty to touching little girls. He had child pornography on his computer, yet he's allowed to do this to people that are good people. People like me. I know I'm a good person. My wife is a good person, but he's allowed to do that. And that's why I spoke on it, because that's not okay. We have to stop it. Even though you like the, going to watch the overdoses and the car accidents, that's not okay what he does. And whenever he talks about, people in the community personally, in that way, that's, him being paid to do that, or there's a reason for that, right? So we have to be careful with that. And that's not okay coming from a man with his past and maybe even future and present, because we don't know, right? We really don't know. And so, that's not okay. He'll lie, blatantly lie. And now he's doing that to this poor woman. And there's the police report. There's the police report. It's election time. Tis the season for political photo ops on steroids and self-gratification and spinning how wonderful they are and how all is great in Yonkers. Really not. Yeah. And, and there are people that fall for it. People actually fall for it and they believe it. Oh, Mike Spano's great. You're doing a great job, Mike. And, I say, what do you mean? Like how? Right? Like, tell me how. And no one has any answers to that. They make general statements. The city's great. Look, it's changed, right? Okay, maybe the aesthetics, right? Maybe the aesthetics of it, is changed. But what has really changed? And in fact, for some, economically, it's gotten worse. For some, even the quality of life and crime has gotten worse. People who have businesses who are constantly getting robbed now, it's gotten worse. We have vape shops, illegal, vape shops or whatever, popping up everywhere. Where are they coming from? How are they just popping up? Isn't there a building department? Because, man, when I was trying to open up a daycare center, boy, were they all over me. I mean, if I were hiding any, weed or drugs or anything in my daycare center, they would have found it the way they went through that place doing a surprise inspection. So how is it that all these other places that are opening up and then now you're going out after them? Okay, now you're shutting them down, but they should have not opened up in the first place, right? But when you're corrupt, you have a corrupt system. You have, people that you hire because of reasons that are not because they're qualified or they know what the hell they're doing, but because they might go beat somebody up for you, or because they vote for you, or because they donate money for you. Then you're going to get poor city employees. You're going to get underqualified people doing these jobs, and they're not going to get done correctly, or they're going to be corrupt. They're going to be shaking these businesses down. How do we know they weren't making some money, allowing them to open up? And then now, boom, 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 let's shut them down. You know why? Because we got the legitimate investors coming in that are going to open up the legitimate weed spots, and they don't want the competition. So now they're going to shut you guys down after they've been shaking you down for all these months. But nobody knows about that. People don't know what Freddie's crazy. You don't know what he's talking about. Yeah, I know exactly what I'm talking about. I'm in the streets and I'm in the boardrooms. That's the thing about me. I'm unique in that way, right? I'm very unique in that way. So I, bounce from both worlds, and I see it. I hear it. I talk to the people, so they'll shake you down. I talk to the bodega owners. How you think I knew about the guy that was shaking people down? They described him to a freaking T. I couldn't even miss him. I was like, wow. Right? So, that's what's happening. But they didn't close all of them down, because I know of some that are still open, but they're still open because they're connected. So they're going to continue to operate, making buku cash. Lots of cash. And that money's leaving the country, every day. What am I talking about, Freddie? Oh, yeah. I know what I'm talking about. Tax-free money. Every day. They work from 8 to 3. When I drive by, then they are finished by 3 p.m. And I've also been seeing DPW out there a lot, working all over the place. I've never seen so many DPW crews doing things. I'm just saying, I've never seen them so much. But good, that's great. That's a great thing. How does Ruth live in lower income housing? I don't know if that building is lower income housing on I don't know what that building is over there on Ashburton. And it's funny. He's such a liar, because he said that I went and knocked on his door. He even told the caterers that I went and I knocked on his door, when in fact I didn't even know where he lived. Remember the video I did, and I was knocking on that door? That wasn't his house. Some people are like, yo, Freddie, that's not where he lives. So I didn't even really know where he lived. So for him to go and say to people that I came to his door and knocked on his door, he was blatantly lying. The man is a liar. And one thing I can't stand is liar. Maybe I'm brutally honest, too honest to a fault, but I prefer that than be a liar. I don't like the lies. I can't be around people who lie. It's just not my thing. Not my thing. What is being connected like? What is being to connect like communities in Westchester in reference to running a full Latino slate? What is being to connect? I'm sorry, I'm trying to understand what is being connected like communities in Westchester in reference to? I'm sorry, can you repeat that question? I'm sorry. Mayor Mike caught flack for the dopey press conference about larcenies that he held on the east side last week. So he just held another one on Ashburton with Breste Campanini standing next to him wearing his bus driver hat. Mayor Mike campaigning at a grueling pace. That's where they were at. They were like in the square over there. Yeah, I think that was about the vapes, right? Yeah, now they're moving their feet there, but they didn't close all of them down. There's still some that are opened up. They're connected. Those guys there's some that have been opened up for like probably 3-4 years now. 3-4 years now. Kids going in there, getting the THC vapes. As a fact. That's a fact. I'll put me in a lie detector. I'll take any lie detector test, right? Getting marijuana, underage kids. And that place is still open. Fact. Give me a lie detector test. I'll take it right here live on my podcast. If I'm lying, which I'm not. So, people who are connected get benefits. Those who complain about the connection, the corruption or the nepotism get retaliated on. And that's how it goes here in the city of Yonkers. So I just wanted to talk about that and give that message out, because I was really upset about the kids, that they were, again, we had more parents come. We had another student who has speech delays, and we could have been helping that child since September. But to hurt me and my business, they told them that we had no more space. But now, because they got caught in the lie, now they're sending kids to me. They got caught in the lie because parents came to us on their own and said, hey, we want a place. They told us there's no more vacancy. Do you guys have any? Oh, yeah, we do. And we're a vendor. They told you that? Wow. Yonkers Public Schools. Isn't that a lawsuit or something? Is that a lawsuit, maybe? Anybody know? Anybody know about laws? Who's working to build a full Latino slate of candidates throughout Westchester County and like communities? We need to bond together. Okay, yeah. I agree with you 1,000%. And I wish that I could find individuals who were honest, loyal, right? And that were not motivated by greed or self-interest. I'm a Latino, I'm a Hispanic here that's been trying to pull other Hispanics together for a while, but we can't get it together. For one reason or another, we cannot get it together. Everybody wants something. Everybody wants something for themselves. That's the problem. We're always thinking about ourselves. What do I want? What am I going to get? What's in it for me? But when we stop thinking that way and think about others and what's in it for the whole, we all win. That's how we all win. We're all not winning now. We're all stressed. So I try to pull people together, but you have certain Latino gatekeepers who keep that division within our Hispanic community because it benefits them. It serves their purpose of maintaining some kind of steam so they can get what they want, maybe their children jobs, maybe their daughter-in-law jobs, right? And then they keep others away. They don't want to unite. They'll lie to you and pretend like they want to, but they won't. They'll never call. They'll never set it up. They'll never actually get it done. And that's where we at now. And so now you have Corazon Pineda, the Dominican, who's really relying on this Dominican base along with the indivisible base, which is a lot of white liberals who, for whatever reason, think Corazon is the one that's going to be the change we need. But the reality is that they just want the power. And so they're using Corazon because they know that this city is 43% Hispanic. But what they don't know is that Corazon is playing them in order for them to not get that power. And I think I'm the only one that knows, except for those who are actually in the planning of the plan. You know what I mean? So that's what's happening here, because everybody's about themselves. Freddie's trying to help everyone. I'm trying to help others. I don't want to help myself. I don't need nothing, right? Not that I got everything. What do I want in life? I have a beautiful family. I have breath. I have life, right? I have, my business. I do my thing, and I have my daycare that's growing and growing. I love it every day. And I want just to give back. I want to help others. I want to build this community up, not just with Hispanics, with everybody, That's my dream. So that's what I'm working on, and I'm hoping that one day we can unite and see what's happening. Those who don't see it yet will see it after this election. I hope they'll see it after this election. I hope that people will look to me and say, Freddie, you really do know what you're talking about. And moving forward, we're going to listen to you a bit more. I'm not, for those who are not listening, I'm saying, because some people don't believe that that's what it is. But Mayor Mike banking on Hispanics and blacks not getting it together. He's the LBJ. That's right. They keep us divided. And now they're dividing us they're trying to pit the blacks against the Hispanics. That's what they're trying to do. And I feel that maybe that's what, they were trying to get me to kind of do through my podcast, right? But not, no blacks versus Hispanics. The gentleman that was Mr. Lafayette, he did a video about me, and they're behind them. Zahi Jerris, they're all behind, this whole attack on Ruth Walter. And he goes and posts a video yesterday in response to my podcast saying that I don't know anything about being a black man. I don't know anything about, being discriminated on. I don't know anything about that. And I will never know. And that's ignorance to assume you know what I've been through. Maybe I'm not technically black, although I'm sure you can trace my DNA to Africa, right? So they say we're Hispanic, I'm sure. But it doesn't matter because I've experienced discrimination. I've watched my grandparents be discriminated time and time again. I've been threatened to be shot because of I was Hispanic. I had someone say to me, I hate pieces of shit like you because I was Hispanic. I had to take my daughter out of her gymnastic class because of the racism, because they didn't give her any attention. I'm spending the same amount of money, but they didn't give her the same amount of attention. I would have to watch them, make sure that, hey, teach her too. I literally had to leave a town, sell the house, we out, because of the racism my kids were experiencing on the bus, in school, my wife, at the PTA meetings, me just throughout the town. Right? So, I have experienced that. But I don't want to, sell myself on the fact that I'm Hispanic. I want to sell myself on the fact that I'm going to work hard for everyone, like I have been doing. Like the seniors who called me and asked me to help, and I did. I spoke to Steve. Hopefully we'll get somewhere, right, Steve? Like the employees who were complaining about being sent to the crooked shrink because they complained about corruption and nepotism and asked to help, I'm helping. That's what I'm here to do. And I would love for everyone to unite and support me because I am the candidate that will support you. I don't care what color, what race you are. You know, that's what I'm about. Right? We have numbers, but not voting numbers. We need to wake up the masses. Exactly. That's true. 43%, but not everyone of that 43% can vote. I met a lot of people. They're not registered. You know, a lot of the reasons because of their residency status. Right? And then you have this population that just doesn't care. Then you have another population of Hispanics that they're going to do what the administration says because they just want to get what they want. And then you have others, you know, like me that are trying to wake up the masses, right? Trying to wake up other Latinos. But you're right. You know, we have to get together, all of us, because at the end of the day, like I said, regardless if you're Hispanic, white, black, whatever, Asian, whatever, if I left you out, I'm sorry. We all want the same thing. We want great schools, quality of life to be high, right? Meaning we want safe neighborhoods, clean neighborhoods, right? We want jobs. We want jobs that will pay a living wage. That's what we want to see. That's what we want. We all want that. We want beautiful parks so we all could take our kids to those parks. Not just the rich people by the water now. Once they close off the water, after they're all done and built and all the rich people are there and they don't want everybody else there, that's what probably is going to happen. You see what they're trying to do at JFK Marina, right? So, but we all want that. And so we need to stand together behind the one person that wants to fight for that and that will work hard to bring that to all of us. And it starts with the education. That is my big thing. Education. What's the school needs? How are we going to get this done? So in the next 4 years, you will see an improvement in our school district, in the buildings, in the quality of the education, the academics, the resources that they provide, the extracurricular activities, sports, whatever. I want the kids to have the same experience that I was blessed to have. And no, it wasn't in Yonkers. So that's what I want. Hey, I think I saw Mike McCheese in Good Humor Truck in his white jumpsuit handing out free ice cream for votes. You're waking up all people. Thank you. I appreciate it, James. That's my goal. I love all people. Again, you know, I'm Hispanic, but I'm not trying to sell myself on the fact that I'm Hispanic. Doesn't matter. I just happen to be a Puerto Rican. But you know what? I'm from Yonkers. I'm a New Yorker. I'm an American. That's what I love. Right? Of course I'm Puerto Rican. Of course I love my heritage. Of course I love my people. But I also love my country. I love my community. I love my city. And I want all of us to feel like we belong here, not like we're being kicked out. I want people to want to stay here, want to buy the houses here because they can afford them, want to send their kids to the public schools here, want to be able to contact their representative and get help, want to be able to open up a business and not deplete their funds, right? In doing so, you know, while hurting other people in the process. That's what I want. That's what we want. You know, I'm Freddie, the New Yorican. Yeah, New Yorican. That's right. As we say, New Yorican. I'm a New Yorican, man. But, you know, for real, I love this country. You know, I was born here. My mother and father born in Puerto Rico. So I was born here. I'm the first generation, I guess, born here. I love this country, man. I love America, man. I love it. I love America. I'm all for, you know, the laws and, you know, but also for, you know, making sure our government is providing good schools to our, you know, kids with good quality education, making sure that our government is taking care of those that need assistance, but also providing resources to help those who need assistance get the assistance they need to then get to a place where they don't need the assistance anymore so they can be independent, because everybody wants to be able to take care of themselves. Nobody wants to be on the system. And if they act like it and say it, it's because they're in it and they got to act like it, right? What are you going to think? Oh, my God, I hate being on welfare. Oh, my God, no, of course they're going to put that front out there. But the reality is people who are out there, they just don't know what else to do. And many have given up. Many are traumatized. It's very complex. So let's not judge. Let's just work together. That's it. I'm Freddie Vasquez. Have a beautiful night, folks. I'm up out of here. Thank you. I'll see you tomorrow night with Anthony DiMaggio. By the way, we put up the things that Anthony. Oh, no, actually, you know what? Let me read this real quick. This is the Ruth Walter report, right? The police report. Let's read it real quick. Ruro should have read this, right? Before he went on there, trying to dilute the whole racism thing. So here on this report, it states the narrative, while assigned to walking post for business district during sidewalk sale, this officer stopped by the election headquarters of Ruth Walter. Ruth Walter did advise of a series of alarming text messages from Jahai Hassan Lafayette in reference to payment for services provided to her campaign. I did advise this matter was a civil matter. Ruth Walter stated that she was making payment to Mr. Lafayette and asked if this officer could be present. Upon arrival, Ruth Walter did furnish a check to Mr. Lafayette for the agreed amount. Mr. Lafayette did accept the check for payment and did agree not to have any further contact with Ruth Walter. End of story. But they go on to make this about this big old racist thing, racism, right? So the officer apparently was in the area. They're having a sidewalk sale. He goes in there. So she asked if he can stay with her while she paid him. Maybe because of the text, she felt, I would feel more comfortable when he came. And that's that, because he says in his, interview with Yonkers Voice that who called the police? Why did she call the police? But apparently the police officer was there. He was patrolling the sidewalk sale. He walked in there. Maybe she saw him walking by and just asked if he could step in while this payment was made because she knew he was coming by. I don't know. Is there any, why are we even talking about this? It's from 2017. It's not even from 2021. I thought it was from 2021. We're still, you see what I'm saying? We're still talking about this. This is from 2017. So they keep bringing this up every election she has. This is dirty politics. This is the work of Zahi Jeris. That's right. It's the work of Zahi Jeris. By the way, I also asked Carlos Moran, the head of human resources, if he knew about employees going out to campaign and get petitions during work hours. Were there a lot of employees who took time off, took a personal day off that day? How many employees took personal days off on the 28th and March 1st? That's what I asked Carlos Moran. We have to audit this. This is our taxpayer money. They're using our money to pay these folks to go out and petition for them. You think that's okay? Are you okay with that? Because I'm not. Then the gentleman decides to put up this thing about me. I don't even know. My wife's like, I don't even want to do. It's up there. He said a bunch of lies. He said that I had said he was despicable and disgusting. I never said that about that guy. He did get over 400 views on his video. Hopefully he'll get me some more viewers. Oh, there he goes. This is what he said.
Behind the camera, and it's a shame why this is the second time I'm in front of a camera. Basically, the first time I was in front of a camera, I was telling my side of an event that happened, an incident that occurred a few years ago when I was contacted to work on a campaign. And the people that I brought on to work on the campaign, who were young people, were not paid. They were doing lit drops, they were doing canvassing, and they weren't paid. And I paid the people and tried to get my money back from the campaign. And the candidates started giving me a runaround and playing games. Now, this guy, there's a guy, and his name is Freddie Vasquez. He decided to take that video, put it up, and he decided to cite his black wife and black children while calling me a liar, saying the events didn't happen. The events that happened was a woman gave me the runaround and started, making wild accusations, like taunting me via text and phone call. And she finally decided, she texted me one day and said, or called me and said, we're going to pay you. Come get the money. I go get the money, and she has the police there waiting for me. And the cop says it's his understanding that I've been extorting, harassing, and threatening the woman. So this woman had a plan, and she weaponized the police against me. Now, she went on to be a county legislator. I didn't speak about this. I made no public statements. This keeps getting brought up, and people keep bending, twisting, folding, and reformatting the story. And I saw an interview she did with the Yonkers Voice, and she flat out denied it. The Yonkers, I think the Yonkers Voice reporter asked her, did she call the police on a black man who came to her house? She denied it. Instead of saying, no, that's not the incident that happened, because that's not what took place. She baited me to her office under the guise of getting paid and had the police waiting for me. My father, who we was on our way to get something to eat, he's the one who dropped me off over there. So he came in a few minutes later, to find out what was taking so long. And the officer said to him, oh, he's been extorting and whatever. And, and they had and my father asked the officer some very good questions. Well, why didn't y'all bring him in? Why are you here? Who dispatched you here? Et cetera, et cetera. Now, recently, this dude, Freddy Vasquez, who runs another podcast, whatever, decided to take that, put me up on his show and say, and basically call me a liar. He said I was crying wolf. He said I was despicable, disgusting. He said he cited that he has a black wife and black children and whatever. Let me tell you something, man. You ain't never been a black man in this country. I don't care how black your wife is, how black your kids are. You don't know what it's like to be a black man. And for me, I'm a very large black man. I mean, and I'm of hip hop culture, and I look like it. So, you don't know the things I face, the adversities I face every day in life, the discrimination, no matter who my parents are, no matter what my father has achieved. You don't know that, and you will never know that. And then to speak on the stories you've heard about my father and such is tacky. He has some pre-existing beef with the Yonkers Voice. I guess they're rival blogs or rival publications or whatever. And he decides that everything that they put out is false or whatever. So then he tries to beat me up and whatever. And as a person of color, man, that's whack. That's tacky. That's corny. You're a person of color and you citing your black wife and your black children, and then you try to discredit a black man. I've not spoken about this. I've not went public, because it happened. It's something that we face in America, man. It's happened to me, similar things, not really somebody saying I'm extorting, threatening, or harassing them, but, interactions with the police in an accusatory way, have happened to me before, and it's happened to every black man in America, man. We gonna encounter this in life, and so we kind of desensitized to it. But the fact that it was brought on by somebody who was seeking to be a public official. Now, this woman, Ruth Walter, has been contacting, notable people in Westchester County, Assemblyman Gary Pretlow, my forever Senator Ruth Hassel Thompson, et cetera, Chairman Mary Young Graves, trying to get them to talk to me. And this was before she was running for office. So I guess she thought this was resurfaced. I have not used this incident as a campaign mechanism against her. She's the Democratic nominee. I'm a Democrat. So I had no idea she was running, but I'm just tired. I guess people keep bringing this up as she continues to seek office. And I'm tired of hearing about it and seeing it get warped and twisted. So I took the opportunity to tell my side of the story. If also Freddy Vasquez said to me, he sympathized with her because of, the way I speak. I ain't never in my life told this woman I was going to do no harm to her. And ain't no woman in this world ever heard me say I was going to do no harm to them. For him to say that, especially as a person of color, is whack, man. It's corny. It's tacky. It's terrible. And he's doing it in his audience, and you can see the audience that's in his comments do not look like us. You know what I mean? And he's trying to make a mockery and disrespect me and discredit me and call me a liar for that audience. and it's terrible. Like I have not said, oh, don't vote for. I ain't out here campaigning. I'm not tied to the Nolan campaign. I've spoken to James Nolan's mother one time, but it was not about this. It was, because I had a cousin who was killed, in Westchester. She had a son that was murdered, and I had a brief conversation with her online. But it was never about no campaign. They ain't recruited me for no campaign. I ain't taking no money from nobody to discredit nobody. I mean, if you know me, I ain't never had no money flow problems, man. And I ain't
never had no money flow problems.
Freddie wins. Fatality.
Yeah, well, I've had money flow problems. I don't know about you. I've had money flow problems. That's life. Sometimes you have money flow problems, sometimes you don't. But fortunately for this man, he's never had money flow problems. His dad was very successful. Chair of the Westchester County Democratic Party. I don't know what it's like to be a black man in America. You're absolutely right, because I've never been black. But I know what it's like to be Freddie Vasquez, Puerto Rican man, growing up in New York and having the experiences that I have. And it hasn't been all kosher. And it seems like your life has been better than mine, because you've never had money flow problems. I have. We had plenty of money flow problems, Mr. Lafayette. Your tone is aggressive. And all I said, which was not the word liar, which was not the word despicable, nor disgusting, like he says. People love to just put words in my mouth. I never said these things. Never called him that. What I did say was that you are coming off in an aggressive manner, even in that interview, even now. The fangs in your teeth. You said so yourself. You cursed at Ruth Walter. You cursed at the police officer. What does that say about you, brother? All I was trying to do was point that out and warn you that the people behind you, the very people you just finished mentioning, that I hear have put money in your pocket so you don't have your money flow problems, are using you to do their dirty work. They're weaponizing you against another person of color, like you said. Maybe not a black man, but a Hispanic. Think about it, brother. I was just trying to unite us, but you seem to rather be divided. I'm Freddie Vasquez. This is Basement Politics Unfiltered. Have a beautiful and blessed night, folks. Thank you very much. Mr. Lafayette, I didn't mean to disrespect you. I was just assessing the situation. I don't like dirty politics. That's just what I see. I could be wrong. All right? That's possible.
Freddie wins. Fatality.
I'll let the people decide. Am I wrong?
Freddie wins. Fatality.
You're watching Basement Politics with my dad, Freddie Vasquez.
That's my beautiful black daughter, Mr. Lafayette.
You're watching Basement Politics with my dad, Freddie Vasquez.
That's my handsome black son.
Thank you for watching Basement Politics with my husband, Freddie Vasquez.
And that's my beautiful black queen.
Thank you for watching.
Wins. Fatality.
I do this because I love it. I don't do it to compete with anyone. I do it to bring transparency here in the city of Yonkers, to represent the people when they lack representation from those who have been elected to do so. That's why I do this.
Freddie wins. Fatality.
No!
Oh, by the way, folks, let me not forget. I commend you, Freddie, for speaking out. Thank you so much for people on the podcast for raising issues and shining a light on corruption. You are a threat to the status quo and those that possess power and influence and refuse to let go. Oh, that rhymed. You can be controversial at times. Yeah, I'm sure. I know I can. More than people would like. But you are real. Please keep Yonkers informed and aware. Thank you. And I mean well. My intentions are to help, to unite, not to divide. Tomorrow, Friday, don't forget, Anthony DiMaggio will be joining me. We put up the report, so take a look at the IMA reports. Be prepared for tomorrow so you can ask questions. Anthony DiMaggio, former Yonkers police lieutenant, We're talking about the crooked shrinks, remember? The ones that they use to get people in the city fired. People who speak up on the corruption. That's actually what Anthony DiMaggio did. He spoke up about the corruption, those connected to the corruption, to the nepotism system. It didn't matter that he outranked them. He wasn't a part of the corruption, so he was out of here. Join us tomorrow. Make sure you watch. Read the reports. I posted them on my page. He has them on his page. Be prepared. Read them. Ask questions. Join us tomorrow. I'm hoping to get started at 8 o'clock. We may start after. It's a possibility. I'm just warning you. I'm not saying it will. Just saying. But we will come on. I'm Freddie Vasquez. Have a beautiful and blessed night. I will see you tomorrow. Happy Friday, folks.
Freddie